What's up, spectators? Welcome back to another episode of Ace Attorney Investigations. Last time, we met a younger Francisca, and Von Karma wanted us to come in here and inspect the crime scene, where Mr. Rel died underneath, oh god, I forgot his name, Mr. Faraday, both holding the murder weapons, each other's murder weapons. Mr. Rel's cause of death was from being shot, correct? That's what we think, but it's hard to tell with him lying face down. Death is bad enough, but it's truly lamentable that someone would try to hide the truth. Are you sure they were trying to hide something? I can't confirm Mr. Rel's cause of death with his body positioned like that. Detective Bad, I like to examine the bodies in further detail if possible. What's this? You're not able to form a theory with them the way they are? I believe an examination of the bodies is vital to finding the perfect evidence, don't you? I suppose you do have a good point. Ooh. Well, hurry up and get on with it. Labby. What? Yes, sir. We've taken enough photos of the scene, sir. Oh, lab, like lab technician. Okay. And there you have it. Do you not approve? Of course not. What? Investigation of a crime scene is the work of a detective, so don't touch a thing. Hey, big fella, turn over the bodies for me, will ya? Okay. Please forgive me, Mr. Faraday, sir. Gumshoe, do not get emotionally involved. Remember, you're a detective. Yes, sir, understood, sir! Okay, seems about right, okay. I mean, you got the stab wound here. There's a knife wound in his chest here, see? I wonder if the wound matches the knife Mr. Rel is holding. Labby. Yes, sir, verifying now, sir. Everyone says sir too often. Make it quick. From the look of things, one could deduce that the knife Mr. Rel is holding is what killed Mr. Faraday. Okay, what about this thing right here? There's something in his breast pocket. It's a fountain pen. The fountain pen in Mr. Faraday's pocket has an especially nice nib. Alright, well, we can link those two things together. The ink stain we found on his left hand at the end of the last video and the pen. You know, I always keep a pencil behind my ear. It's because Detective Bad is always telling me, you should always write your name on everything you own. Yes, somehow you do strike me as quite a forgetful individual. Alright, let's see. Shot in the chest. It takes some guts to fire a gun in a courthouse. I mean, I've been a detective for a whole week and I still haven't fired a single round yet. There aren't any burn marks on his clothes. That must mean, well, we know from the last case that it was from a distance then where he was shot. Burn marks. A round grows very hot as it is discharged from a firearm. Therefore, burn marks are usually left when a shot is fired from point-blank range. Ergo, Mr. Rel must have been shot from at least a yard or two away. You sure do know a bunch of neat stuff for your age, pal. Apparently, this detective has as much common knowledge, common with one M, alright, common knowledge, as your everyday marsupial. Let us now try to understand how the two men died. First, Mr. Faraday took the gun and the knife out from today's trial evidence. Then, he aimed the gun at Mr. Rel and fired. However, Mr. Rel managed to grab the knife and counter Mr. Faraday while being shot. Then, the two men fell together where they stood. That is my theory, in any case. What a crazy way to go. Still, something about that explanation just doesn't seem right. Okay. I believe I now have a firmer grasp on what happened here. Alright, let's try putting the logic together. Beep, boo, 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 boo. Oh, so many things everywhere. Ink stain with the fountain pen. Pyo! Ah, yes. That splotch on Mr. Faraday's hand. I wonder if it might be the ink from his fountain pen. Ooh, let's ask the lab guy. Please don't call him Labby. Detective Gumshoe! I confirm that the substance on Mr. Faraday's hand is the ink from his fountain pen. That was fast. Took him like 2 seconds. I see, good work. You know, I've always wanted to say that, even if it was just one time in my life. If Mr. Faraday wrote with his fountain pen in his left hand, I think it's fair to assume he was left-handed. It appears that Mr. Faraday's pen is very important to our case as well. Okay, if you say so, pal. Yes. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see, neat and tidy table. Plastic bags. Is it the table and the bags they want me to... Let's try that. Because one's neat and one's a mess. Nice! Okay. There is a very tidy pile of plastic bags on the table. And yet, a portion of them wound up scattered on the floor as well. It's not likely that the ones on the floor were knocked over during a struggle. In which case, might there not be another explanation as to how they got there? Another reason? I believe it's possible that the blood on the outside of the bag is related somehow. It's on the outside? Please get that blood away from me, pal. Detective Gumshoe, whose blood is on this bag? Hold on. Let me ask the lab guy. Alright, please hurry. And it'll take 2 seconds, and then he'll say that it's Faraday's. Oh, I knew it! It's Faraday's. Wait till you get a load of this, pal. It's Mr. Faraday's. Oh, and the technician said they didn't find anything else on or in the bag either. It would appear that this bag is a very important piece of evidence. Okay, if you say so, I'll leave it in your hands, pal. I bet the knife was in the bag and the person was stabbed through, like, they held the bag, if you know what I'm saying. Alright. Oh, we're still not done yet. Okay, let's see, what else is there? There's the bags, there's the bag, there's a tea set, TV. There's still Francisco we can talk to. Let's do that. Hey, what's going on? Ah, I see. Did you figure something out? This is a competition, Miles, and as such, I'd appreciate it if you didn't talk to me. As you wish. What an attitude. Detective Bad, do you have any thoughts on the case? Faraday and Rel, it looks like they killed each other to me. Although, there are a few things that just don't seem right. And what would they be? Why don't you try thinking on your own first before you bother me, boy? Now I've been downgraded to just boy? What am I missing? Gumshoe, what am I missing? Help me, Gumshoe! Yeah, pal? Notice anything? This is my first time setting foot inside the courthouse. Who would have thought it'd be for my first case as a detective? But you know, I get the feeling I'll be coming here a lot more in the future. As a suspect detective, his hands are so huge. Of course not, pal. Anyway, this lobby's actually pretty luxurious. I mean, for a defendant's lobby, it's got a pretty big TV. Oh, and there's that tea set on the table over there. Bet you didn't know that I like to drink tea. Wow, this room's really decked out. If it means spending time in here, maybe being a suspect isn't such a bad thing after all. I'm beginning to suspect that leaving this detective in charge of anything might be bad. But he is right, this room is rather well furnished. And somewhere in this room, the truth is slumbering. It's time to find it and give it a wake-up call. Alright, they gave us 2 clues, the tea set and the television. I kind of want to see what the television's about. Whoa! What is it, Detective Gumshoe? My TV at home is so tiny compared to this one, pal. Then perhaps you should purchase a more normal-sized television like this one. Ooh, let me see here. Wow, this thing is huge. What? And way too noisy. You're the noisy one, Scruffy. Don't touch it! You'll get your fingerprints all over it. But I didn't touch it. Preservation of the crime scene is the foundation of detective work. The foundation, huh? Sounds like something the rookie here needs to shore up on. I guess there's not much left to investigate, huh? They really did kill each other. No. We can't conclude that quite yet. There's still something I find very peculiar here. The theory that they simply killed one another is too simplistic in this case. In fact, there's actually a contradiction that shows there is another possibility. No way, pal. Really? I suppose I will just have to show you the conflict in this crime scene. I won't rest until blah blah blah. Alright, let's deduce! Yes, right-handed with the left pen, blah blah blah, the pen. Ah yes. Ah yes. Now we come face to face with the contradiction I spoke of, and it is this. Mr. Faraday used his left hand to write his fountain pen, with his fountain pen. Ergo, he is left-handed. And yet, the handgun is in his right hand. Don't you find it odd that a left-handed Mr. Faraday would hold a gun in his right hand? That, ladies and gentlemen, is the great contradiction haunting this crime scene. Hey, you're right, pal. That does seem kinda strange. But, how could something like that happen? The facts add up to one conclusion and one alone. Someone else put the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand after he died. Someone else? Plastic bags scattered on the floor and a gun in the wrong hand. I sense the presence of a shadowy figure behind this case. A person of vile intent who is serious about keeping the truth from us. Nice, we did it! I think we did rather well. Here's the autopsy report. It is probable that Mr. Rell survived for a short time after he was shot. However, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously from his stabbing. Interesting. It looks like we now know everything we need to know about this case. Ooh. Are you sure we know everything? Of course! The incident began with Mr. Faraday attempting to get his revenge. The prosecutor went into a rage from being accused and tried to kill the defendant. But the defendant fought back, and they ended up killing each other. It's all very clear and simple. This is absolutely no margin for doubt. Do you really believe that to be the truth? Ha! Are you saying that just because I figured out the truth before you? That you don't want to believe it's true? It's alright. If you disagree with my argument, then prove me wrong. Well, if there are any contradictions to be found, that is. Don't worry, I will. What happened? Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, while Mr. Rell survived for a short time. From this, it is obvious that Mr. Faraday died after he shot Mr. Rell. And Mr. Rell, while on the brink of death, stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him. Those are the facts of this case. Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, therefore he must have attacked first. Proving that logic to be false is probably the fastest way to show her that she's wrong. In that case, I should first look for any holes in her theory. Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, while Mr. Rell survived. Do you truly believe that Mr. Faraday died instantaneously? I have the murder report right here. Mr. Faraday died instantaneously of shock due to being stabbed in the chest. There, you see? It's been documented clear as day. It is obvious that he died after he shot Mr. Rell. Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Rell before he died. Do you have any basis for that statement? Your foolishness has no end, does it? Now, I hate to repeat myself, however, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously. That's all the basis I need. Alright, so if Mr. Faraday died instantaneously, then he must have attacked Mr. Rell before being stabbed. You're finally beginning to catch on, I see. And Mr. Rell, while on the brink of death, stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him. So you believe that the dying Mr. Rell stole the knife from Mr. Faraday? Mr. Rell became desperate as he did not want to die. Human beings can do amazing things when they are put to the test. So, the two men struggled. And in the end, Mr. Rell was able to grab the knife and stab Mr. Faraday. The messy condition of this room is a testament to their struggle. Yes, my logic is perfectly sound. Can you really say that it's perfect? What are you insinuating? Nothing. However, I can't let what you said slide by without further inquiry. One must be clear and precise, so if you could append that statement to your testimony. Fine. The fact that there is a mess. They struggled and Mr. Rell... Oh wait, that there isn't a mess, sorry. They struggled and Mr. Rell used the last of his strength to counterattack Mr. Faraday.
Hold it!
About this statement. Mr. Rell used all of his remaining strength to take the knife and defend himself. One can easily see that they had a violent struggle. Of course, it's nothing compared to what my riding crop could do. How does one compare the damage your crop can do with the state of this room? Furthermore, all the plastic bags on the floor in this room were scattered there due to the fight. Is there anything else that I can explain for you? Yep, this is it. They've given it to us on a silver platter. That will be fine. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Present the table. Where is it? Crime scene notes? Bum bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Is it this? Discovered immediately after the gunshot. Remarks about the bodies. The death. He was alive. What the? Wait a minute. Where is it? Is it not here? Oh no. Oh, the test. Maybe it's Gumshoe's testimony. He didn't hear a sign of a struggle. That could be it. Gumshoe's testimony. It wasn't what I was going for originally, but that makes sense.
Objection!
Oh, thank God. If the two men were fighting, their struggle would have surely caused quite a bit of noise. However, Detective Gumshoe testified that he heard absolutely nothing. Ha! You place too much faith in that detective's testimony, you know. But for the sake of argument, let's say there wasn't a fight. How then did Mr. Rell get his hands on the knife? Mr. Faraday's bag was sitting right here in lobby number 2. It is not hard to imagine that perhaps Mr. Rell saw a chance and took it out at some point. So, what you're saying is this. Mr. Rell took a chance when he saw the opportunity and took the knife from the bag. And then Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Rell after being stabbed. Isn't there something strange in Francisca's statement just now? Yes, but I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been. Something doesn't add up. Oh, really? It's simply not possible for Mr. Faraday to have shot Mr. Rell after being stabbed. Yeah, because it was instantaneous, obviously. Crime scene notes. According to the coroner's report, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously, meaning that he died immediately upon being stabbed by the knife. Ergo, he could not possibly have fired the gun after that. Oh, you got me. But of course. Well then, if the report is correct, then there is only one correct explanation. If we suppose that Mr. Rell attacked first, then Mr. Faraday, who died instantaneously, would have been unable to kill Mr. Rell. Therefore, Mr. Rell must have stabbed Mr. Faraday. After he was shot, then they both died. That is the only explanation that makes logical sense. Negating your opponent's ideas in order to prove your own theory. I see you've been studying, Francisca. I just want to explain it to you as simply as possible, before you foolishly propose a foolish theory that only a foolish fool like you could. How naive of you to believe that only your opinions are valid, and still expect to discover the truth that the crime scene offers you. Francisca, you still got a ways to go. What are you talking about? Are you saying there's a flaw in my logic? Mr. Faraday died instantly. And the fact that he did is what gives rise to the contradiction in this scene. The contradiction here in this crime scene is... the order of events, the order the bodies fell, the evidence bag's location. It must be the location. That's the only one that makes sense. The other two seem fine. The evidence bag is too far away from the bodies. If the bag that held the weapons was this far from the victims, then neither of the two men could have taken one out without the other noticing.
Objection!
Heh, weren't you the one who just said, perhaps Mr. Rell saw a chance and took it out at some point? Now take some responsibility for your own claims. Ooh, oh, I got it wrong. I need to think this over one more time. And with it being 21 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. So stay tuned for the next one, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye!